Why, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. My name is Mr. Dogboat333, and welcome back to Hearts of Iron 4, The New Order, The Ruin, as we RK Ukraine. In the last video, we really started working on weakening the Germans' control over, really, these two areas, and we're doing an okay job, actually. We even have a little bit of, reach into this area. A little bit more in the north as well, although that's starting to fall off. But, we're trying. We also reached a compromise with Russian speakers in the east. And hopefully there won't be any issues with Russian-speaking people in eastern Ukraine. Queen Wilhelmina's died? I don't know if we'd actually give our condolences, but at least roleplay-wise, these guys. Just, you know. I like the whole idea of Suriname being the Dutch government in exile. It's a really interesting one. Consumption cycle ending. Well, do we want to sabotage this? Doesn't matter if we do. It doesn't look like we can, actually. So, I will hold out. And instead, let's working on the revolution enduring. The fascists have done everything they could to snuff out the flame of socialist liberation in Ukraine, a process they have currently been pursued with relentless cruelty, but their efforts have been for naught. The spirit of resistance of the 50s has returned for vengeance. Beneath the suit of tyranny that chokes out the people, blackens the factories, and ravages the fields, are the same ideas and hopes for freedom and justice that led us to victory in 1917. Freedom, true emancipatory freedom for labor and peasants is coming, comrades. Liberation from the Germans and the bourgeois, man or God, is coming. Lenin is young again, and so is the revolution. Got some more construction stuff done. And we can do some more opposition group actions. More research. What do we want? We'll do that. I want to avoid military tech for these guys. So we'll do, like, radar. Why not? Tremors protected in Burgundian soil. We're getting very close to taking over this place. So are we just losing? Our GDP is still growing, but I swear I keep seeing it go down. Watch out! Broken bottle! Warned Petra, causing Elena to nearly trip as she stepped over it without looking and jammed her foot into raised cobblestone. Petra was quick to pull her back before she fell, stifling laughter. The sun was glowing from just above the monotonously uniform skyline of cheap housing, only broken up with the natural signs of urban decay. Lonely construction cranes, shattered windows on every floor, and faded graffiti. Hell of a honeymoon. Petra's cheerful expression melted in a frown. Come on, darling, we still have a few days. You know what's at stake. If we don't fight, I understand. It's just hard. Her expression brightened a bit as she looked over to a patch of trees giving shade to a patch of grassy lawn. Hey, park. That graveyard. Though I guess everywhere trees in this godforsaken city is a park, replied Petro. As he sat on a bench, it would seem they weren't the only ones who decided the line was blurry enough. Just as they sat down, 3 children ran past. One child was chasing the other, cackling madly as the rest screamed in mock terror. It's like they don't even know, smiled Elena. Petro nodded, although he was staring beyond where the grave sites were loosely arranged. There was a young man kneeling before 3 headstones, each bearing the same surname. His eyes were filled with tears, but there was little determination or even anger on his face. Petro had seen his eyes 1,000 times before. These were the eyes of someone who had lost everything to fascists. Petro squeezed Elena's hand, and he was glad he fought for a different reason. We'll make it. Let's work on cracking the apparatus to start up on... We are an insurgency, and as with every insurgency, we must take action against the oppressive apparatus under which we are supposedly governed. We are therefore most fortunate that the RK, weak and corrupt as it is, offers us many ways in which to do so. From the countless thousands of loyal collaborators that it relies upon, to the widely scattered and insufficiently protected settlements, to the endless miles of countryside and railway lines, opportunities abound. Every pillar that the states stand upon is vulnerable, and we will strike them all. This is something I can get behind. Still got a couple more months until like September, maybe October when things start up. Total grain consumed 35. Despite attempts at further mechanizing agriculture and balancing the needs of output of Ukrainian farmers, to increase productivity was nearly inadequate. The RK will have to redouble their efforts to ensure they meet future quotas, as the Germans have increased expectations after this close call. The current cycle's productivity management of grain distribution has failed to meet the local needs, meaning the natives malnourished and struggling to survive. They will likely hinder grain quotas and make meeting further regional development and export quotas extremely challenging. While current regional development has met German expectations in the current cycle, it was through the skin of the administration Steve. Ukraine is still burdened by the risk of not meeting expectations in the next cycle, which could potentially lead to further inadequate German investment and the associated decrease in German settlement. Understood. Well, not meeting the grain stuff actually helps us a little bit. Yeah, we get extra support for the commies, which is nice. Starve the no, only the Ukrainians are starving, but the Ukrainians are pissed off and hungry, so they're working with us, which I can get behind. The cold wind carried Artyom's body back and forth like a rocking horse. When he filled his coat full of barley to bring to the partisans, he imagined the start of his new career as a new Petlira, a career cut short by a Wehrmacht patrol. His new career is that of a warning, strung up outside his village with a sign pinned to his chest. I was caught aiding bandits. Artyom's friends passed by his corpse several times, each with an increasing level of disgust. Some of them learned the lesson, just not the lesson that the Germans intended them to learn, as a sober discussion back in Konstantin's hovel would reveal. It was not enough for those brutes to take away our friend. They had to parade his corpse in our face. Mikita's mournful tone flipped into one of rising fury as they strode around the room. Artyom's death must not be in vain. His mantle must become ours. With that, he will be avenged. There was no great echoing cheer from the room, just a scattering of fists in the air with murmurs of skepticism. Why should they follow Artyom to the rope? This is insanity. Must I tell you what I told Artyom before? Konstantin's tone was that of a teacher lecturing a disobedient student. Life isn't great, but it could always be worse. Mikita and the rest of Artyom's new admirers were furious. This is no life. It is but an extended prelude to our creeping deaths. You may spend your days here drinking to yourselves to death, but some of us recognize the duty we have, not just to Artyom, but our nation. Each man remained resolute to either keep their head down or pursue something greater. Life springs from death. I really should get back out to the field, General Lyudmila Pavlichenko said, even as she sat herself in the chair in front of the radio microphone and prepared remarks. A brief scan revealed no shortage of cloying cliches and self-pitying cries. Of course, said a man in a fraying dress uniform. We want you out there doing what you do best, which is why the Red Army keeps forcing me to read. No one is forcing you to do anything. No one would dream. God, Lyudmila, you were brought out here as a sign of respect. You were the Union's best advocate 20 years ago. There's a reason Bukharin had you touring the U.S. and Canada to... He gestured his arms in a wide, childlike manner, as if to capture the nature of her one-time tour, meeting Eleanor Roosevelt, being denied by President Dewey and his priggish controller Robert Taft, speaking in packed concert halls. What good had that trip done so many years ago when she played along and allowed others to dictate her remarks? What did she achieve when she allowed the cow-eyed American press to ask her about her makeup routine on the front line? Her face turned red. I'm not a child. I'm a veteran of the Great Patriotic War. I am a general of the Red Army. I have killed 849 fascist invaders. If you want my voice, my own words need to be behind it. It's the only way I can reach the right people. There was a pause. The man gave an exasperated sigh, left the room, then returned with the pen. With pleased grin, Lyudmila stretched her stiff arm and began to rewrite her speech. Workers of the world, my name is General Lyudmila Pavlichenko. I come to you as we approach the hour of our liberation. Based. The Levant partition. Interesting. Yep, look at that. That is a partition Levant, alright. Alright, we can now start cracking the apparatus. I think. Spread propaganda. Target collaborators. Look at that. Okay, interesting. So, we can get working on that. This will either really help us, slightly help us, nothing will happen, or some of the other guys will gain popularity. Nothing happened. Shit. Well, we can attack the occupiers here, and we now control the two. Evidently, they figured their shit out. This is how you know TNO doesn't follow realism. Let's compromise the auxiliaries. The Germans are under the deadly delusion that they can rule Ukraine all by themselves, even the Marshall Legion's desperate collaborators, to assist their tyranny. The Germans sneer at and dismiss these men, but without them, the Germans' hold on Ukraine would collapse overnight, making infiltrating the ranks all the more vital. Fortunately for us, Reich's effort to inspire loyalty and ideological fervor, often with heavy-handed propaganda and hysterical exhortations about Judeo-Bolshevik world orders and famines, generate more eye rolls and concealed yawns among the traitors than anything else. The simple fact is that these men serve the arcade out of survival, not out of devotion, and for every day that the Reich grows sicker, they grow even more disloyal. Some of us may feel indignant about recruiting these men, but among the traitors are men who know, deep down, that to serve Vishuma or UNA is to fight for the rape of Ukraine, and to serve the Red Army is to save it. Let's stay meeting. Interesting. New cycle of activity. We're still holding on. We're going to have control over 3 of these states. soon enough. Compromise the auxiliaries. Next, we can go ahead and drain the stockpiles. In the best case scenario, we can quickly topple the arcane and liberate the people without fears of protracted struggle. However, it'd be foolish to dismiss the possibility that the fighting may be extensive and time-consuming. Such a situation would leave us at a disadvantage. Our weapons and munitions stockpiles are limited and largely outdated, while the German armories are vast and cutting-edge. That said, if we can hit two birds with one stone to resolve the situation. Our contacts and moles within the collaborators can access the enemy's equipment and lose them by accident for us. This won't fix our equipment issues and won't be dropping a bucket for the Germans, but every gun counts. Uh-oh. My high-tech German rifle got stuck in the laundry machine. I can't get it out. What are you doing, communists? Start collaborators. Booyah. Oh, that is beautiful. Let's attack some occupiers over here as well. Get us a nice boost over 60%. Second Malagasy Uprising, final spasms of the Dead Empire. Hans never understood why it ended up here of all places. Of course, you remembered the reason. Well, a Wehrmacht soldier was sent here for protection of the Lebensraum and National Socialism's conquest of the East, or at least they said so. But why did fate decide the ones who should be sent was him? His thoughts, however, were interrupted in midway by the arrival of their group at a Dutch farm for yet another grain collection, along with SSPK looking for partisans of the region, though he doubted any were here. What could they possibly want from Dutch families? After a couple of hours, everything was done. The Dutch were very nice. Hans even shared a talk with them on guerrillas, with them wishing the garrison good luck in preserving order in the region. As the Germans left, though, all kindness and gentleness left the colonizers' faces, being replaced by worry and fear as communist partisans started to leave their basements, where they'd been hiding from the occupiers. They'd been using the farm for over half a year now, previously luring the Dutch into a trap. They were nearing bankruptcy when certainly a lot of locals started to plead for jobs at their place, even for very low pay. This was an offer they couldn't refuse, and when they found out those were partisans using their businesses to cover up, it was too late. They become yet another tool in the fight against German rule. Ukrainians quickly left the place after quick thanks, filled with laughter, leaving the Dutch wondering when all of this would finally end. More pawns in the big game. It's like kind of some Inglourious Bastard shit, except they didn't notice the Jews in the basement. Oh, shit. Now is the winter of our discontent. It looks like they couldn't figure out the workshop mechanics. Yeah, sucks to suck. Anywho. I'm going to go ahead and leave it there, my friends, but thank you as always for watching. Like, dislike if you didn't. Leave any comments or feedback down in the comment section below. I read all the comments I get, and I appreciate any feedback you might have for me. Oh shit, grease is looking pretty thick. Interesting. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks as always for watching. Yeah, I'll see you all next time. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye.